we go.
Awesome.
Hello, I am your Uncle Ringo, and with me I have a special guest, as always. Would you like to go ahead and
Chairman
introduce yourself?
Braxton. Thank you for having me. I'm Braxton.
Always.
Oh yeah.
We're having a little impromptu meeting over here, as I may or may not be 4 sheets to the wind. It's not 4 sheets to the wind. I'm not really that bad.
No, yeah, you can still talk, so it's all good. It just
Yeah.
gets the conversation going.
Okay. So I don't know if you watched my interview with Neil, but I had the same issue, and it is someone likes to bite me.
Mm-hmm. It's just a little snag. It's just a
Little bit.
Yeah, just a little taste. That's all. But yeah, I'm from Tennessee. We're trying to get a lot more people active out here, man. And have you guys been seeing any of the activity from ICE?
All right. So I'm out in Washington. And we have had some issues up in Seattle. I haven't seen it personally, but from where I'm at, I'm down in a small, tiny little city called in Grays Harbor called Aberdeen. And I remember about a month ago, out of nowhere, the cop presence jumped up from like seeing one police vehicle every like 3 to 5 weeks to seeing, I think we counted 9 in one night.
Jesus, okay.
So, I mean, I guess you could argue that maybe they were doing a drug bust, but I mean, bullshit in my opinion.
Yeah. Feels a little convenient.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, we've been...
What about in your...
So, yes and no. Nashville, especially. Nashville is a little more progressive than the rest of Tennessee, so they've been cracking down on them pretty fucking hard. Chattanooga, I haven't seen any. I haven't had any reports of any. That doesn't mean they won't get here, because they will. But we have like out in Dalton, we had an actual high school senior get snatched and held for a month.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So, and Dalton is a massive like Hispanic community, so they've been very, very heavy in Dalton. That was one of the first places they hit actually after Trump took office, which it's no real surprise, but yeah. So
of course,
that's been sort of a community focus, but unfortunately, a lot of our mayors and representatives are very MAGA, so it makes it a little harder to identify ICE before they get here.
Of course.
Yeah.
So I know you and I haven't like had like personal talks, like we've talked a few times, but like, so I'm from New Mexico, and that's the reason why I bring it up, because like you and I haven't had that interaction yet. I was surprised. The New Mexico mayor has this year alone done some stuff that like I hadn't seen over the 18 years that I was born, like because I lived there for 18 years before I joined the military.
Thank you.
Yeah. And she has been pushing back against a lot of the bullshit that Trump has been pushing out, which surprised me, because I mean, New Mexico for me growing up, it was a very Catholic heavy, very like red state in my opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't really do politics in my first 18 years of life, but
I get that.
Who the fuck does?
Yeah, Tennessee for me, I'm not surprised at all. Chattanooga, that's where I live. A lot of our city council members, and they like to act like we're a super progressive place, but we have what the locals call the bubble. The bubble is this area where they build this intricate and really, really nice infrastructure for people to move to from out of state, usually red states. So they're super progressive when it comes to maybe tax incentives or business incentives to bring those people here, but for us, it's fuck us. Like outside of that bubble, you know, it's deteriorating infrastructure. It's constant unnecessary police presence, aggressive police. It's typical outside bubble behavior.
Yeah, well, like I feel you on that. Like my earliest experience with that sort of stuff. So I was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico, but I was raised in Belen, New Mexico, which for anyone that ever looks at a map, Belen, New Mexico is about yay big on like a space. You know, a space that big, you're not going to fucking find it unless someone points it out to you. It is small as shit. And our mayor didn't I have a whole issue with Walmart, but Walmart would have made Belen a stronger city if we had given them the land that they asked for. The next county over, the next city over, Los Lunas, was like, "Hey, we'll give you the land because Belen won't give you the land." And all of a sudden, Los Lunas started like exploding because they now had money to go ahead and put towards that infrastructure, and
Yeah.
Belen started dying. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I get it,
That's that is a really good example though of why we can't keep reforming capitalism, because we can't allow businesses to just decide who lives and dies in poverty and who gets to
right?
have the money to build infrastructure for their people. Like that is an insane like, oh, if you give us land, we'll feed the people. Like that's not a fair decision.
Right?
Like that doesn't make any
Right.
sense.
Well, and like it also brings up the whole aspect of like, who are you as a corporation to decide that the city that I was born, that I was raised in, maybe not born in, but
Mm-hmm.
the city that I was raised in, doesn't deserve to expand the same way as
Yeah.
like the friends that I had in Las Lunas. I think that they should be expanding, maybe not like equally, but they should be expanding,
Yeah, of
like
course.
both of them.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They should have the opportunity to decide how they want to expand without it being up to a corporation to give them that money. Like
Yeah.
that's if your population's growing, industry's growing, and people are demanding like, hey, we want new jobs here. We want a new factory. Like, why not? I mean, if people are
Right.
willing to put the work and effort in, and I think a lot of people overlook because I've heard that here a lot, especially like out there's an area called Hickson. It's massively expanding, but only recently because before they didn't really like a lot of people wouldn't sell their land.
Yeah.
A lot of people overlook the fact that you can't just dump mass amounts of land because that's farmland, right? If you
Yeah.
push farmers out, great, you have a Walmart, but now you don't have a farm to feed the community, right? Now you're out of food for the food bank. Now, because especially here in Chattanooga, a lot of our like food banks and charities rely on local farms to get their food. But all of those programs were cut and don't exist anymore. So now the farmers are going to get pushed out, and there's nowhere for these places to get their food. So great, VW's expanding their factory, but that doesn't help us if there's no food to buy.
Right. Well, and like I think that's one of those things like a lot of people are starting to notice, especially like if you're following a more perfect union. Which, by the way, anyone who listens to this, go right. Yeah, they're fucking great.
Absolutely.
Did you see the one where they were talking to farmers in the
Yes.
Midwest? And like how people are
Yes.
coming, like there's a corporation that's coming in and they're like, yeah, they're just trying to buy us out and we don't want to sell our land. But then they when we don't sell, they take us to court.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the big takeaways. And like where I grew up, I remember over on the left of the house I grew up, there was a farm to the left, there was a farm that was to the north, and there was a farm over here to the right. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I grew up in like farmland, like
So that.
everybody,
Absolutely.
the high schoolers. You knew when someone was born and raised on a farm because they showed up on a goddamn dually with double stacks.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But you should be allowed to grow up on a farm, know how to go ahead and produce product such as food.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe using the term product is the consumerism brain on my aspect. But you should be able to produce things that help other people and not have to worry about like producing. I think that a more perfect union was talking about like they are required to like produce corn or something that's just kind of like isn't really a product that those of us that are of the normal human variety really can consume on the daily.
Yeah.
I don't know. I need to go watch like a shit ton of their videos again.
You'll see a lot of farmers too. So I lived in Alabama. It was like a year of my life, but I still have family down there. And it's in a very small town. There's a lot of farms around. You'll see corporations go in and they'll actually have these farmers, like chickens, for example, Tyson. They have a huge presence in Alabama from Gunnersville to Arab, Huntsville. And they'll go in and they'll say, hey, look, if you'll grow these chickens for us, we'll give you X amount of money for 6 months or for a harvest or for this or that. And they've been doing it for so long that these people are relying on these corporations. Like that's how they survive is corporations saying you grow only my product and you'll get paid. And they can't compete. You know, there's non-competes, there's NDAs. I mean, there is no other option after you take that deal. I mean, it's
of course
signing a contract with the devil, but there's no other option either.
Well, and like if you don't sign that option, your options are like getting $5 an hour for doing something like selling to a mom and pop shop in the area or something like that. And don't hold my numbers. Don't hold my numbers against me. I don't know what the numbers are, but I know that like we know for a fact that like Amazon undercuts everybody by going ahead and overpaying until they go ahead and kill the market. Then they underpay, like they legitimately underpay everything.
Oh yeah.
My wife goes ahead and produces books, and when she was close, so my mom, my wife, I need to slow down here. My wife, who is older than me, she used to work at a bookstore that is no longer a thing anymore. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but she's like, we got undercut by Amazon because Amazon used to go ahead and be like, hey, you want that book that for this story purpose, it's not Barnes & Noble, but I'm going to use Barnes & Noble because that's the only bookstore I can think of. Barnes & Noble sells this book at like $6. We're going to sell it at $5. So then people will start going ahead and doing that. And you see that with like farmland, where it's like you sell our chicken at $5 when like this chicken that you can buy from your neighbor is like 7 or 14 or 28 or whatever the fuck the price is. We're going to undercut them by $1 or half or more or something like that. And then people are like, oh, well, the only way I can make money is by joining up with Amazon.
Yeah.
And you see that with corporations.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they drain everything dry if there's no other choice but to either deal with them or drown.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
Well, like go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
We're seeing it with like the corporations not getting taxed for the shit. You know, oh well, if we tax them, they're going to run away, and then you see, I don't remember what state it is, but they tax the millionaires, and the millionaires have started to reproduce and repopulate the area. And you're like, oh, so taxing them. For anyone that sees us on YouTube, the cat that is over here behind my head, her name is Belladonna.
That's awesome.
We have so many cats in this house.
I only got one. We used to have 8.
Oh shit!
We had 8 cats and 4 dogs, and now we have 1 cat and 1 dog.
Nice. We are at 5 cats, 2 dogs, 1 child, 2 if you count me.
Don't have any of those. Well, I guess me, but Nicole would agree with that. Oh goodness! But the whole like monopoly capitalism, you see it with tech too. I mean, Elon Musk is a great example, right? Starlink. I have feelings about this. There is no fucking reason that Starlink should be in every government institution in the world, right? There should you can choose any government like that is functioning in like on the planet, and there is some aspect of that government that uses or utilizes Starlink to some fashion. That's fucking crazy, right? Now, I might be dramatic. I'm sure not every single, but every single imperial superpower does. And the fact that we just accept that, and the government's like, yeah, that's fine. Not only are we going to let that happen, you're going to get some tax incentives for it. You're not going to be fairly taxed, and you can also massively pollute underserved communities, and we're not going to do anything about it.
Well, and like we're seeing with Elon that he doesn't give a shit about small counties and small cities and stuff like that because Michigan, Memphis. Thank
right
you, Memphis.
Yep, that's 5-ish hours away from me. 4 or 5 hours away from me.
Yeah, they're dealing with him running turbine generators, 35 turbine generators for his fucking big dick AI bullshit.
The XAI, and it is. I mean, it's literally killing the community. Like, it's it's polluting the air.
Well, and like, so, like, I am absolutely trying to tie this into Starlink because, I mean, I think Starlink has its own issues. But we're seeing people from Memphis go ahead and be like, I didn't have mesothelioma. Mesothelioma? I just watched the More Perfect Union where they went ahead and talked about, like, all the different things that people, like asthma. Asthma was one of them. I remember that. They're like, I didn't have asthma, now I do. Or my asthma wasn't this bad, and now it is. But I ended up pulling up an article here about NBC News, and Elon Musk Starlink has a growing footprint in the federal government. And it talks about how Starlink, the satellite internet service controlled by billionaires, quote unquote, billionaire Elon Musk and his rocket company SpaceX is expanding its footprint in the federal government weeks after billionaire began slashing the federal workforce and agency budgets under President Donald Trump's direction. So yeah, he's, like you said, taking a foothold in the government. And that was March 7th. That was like quite literally like a month ago.
A month ago, yeah. And it's not going to slow down. I mean, he gets most of his money from the U.S. government at this point, like from contracts.
The only thing we can hope for is that the breakup isn't a smokescreen for what's going on.
Okay, so do you want to dive into the breakup? Because I have a whole analysis. Okay,
dude, if you want to get into that, real quick before we dive into it, I want anyone that listens to this, no matter where Elon ends up on this, he is not our fucking ally. He is not your ally. If you are one of the working class members of any, I don't care what country you are in, Elon will fucking end you to go ahead and make $1 if you can.
Okay, so my analysis, and I've been screaming this for months. Okay, I've been all over my TikTok. So this was bound to happen. So there are some things that just have to happen, and I don't mean that in like a predetermined destiny kind of way or any sort of. What I mean is there are parameters set in a capitalist system for that system to sustain itself, and this is one of them. So Trump, while yes, he is fascistic, he is the worst of the worst. He is not the end goal. He was never the end goal for Stephen Miller, for Peter Thiel, or for Musk. So if Elon, well, first, this was the goal. The goal was to get in power and remove all safeguards and straight up lay the groundwork for the next step of autocracy, specifically techno-feudalism. Yeah. So Elon and Trump, I don't think they're going to make up, but it doesn't matter either, because he is going to try and push Trump out of office. If he succeeds, it is going to be, if not just as bad, much worse, because J.D. Vance is directly intertwined with Peter Thiel, with Elon Musk, with Curtis Yarvin, right? These people that are actual eugenicists, like actual white supremacists. Yes, Trump is racist. Trump is a terrible human who never should have won the election. But these people have been fighting for these things publicly and building the infrastructure to literally turn us into a full-scale autocracy. And Elon Musk is not just friends, but a long-standing friend with Peter Thiel, with Curtis. J.D. Vance worked for Thiel. And those aren't even, not including anybody from the Heritage Foundation or any of the other Silicon Valley fucks that are building freedom cities, right? Right. Yeah. If you look at these freedom cities, which is what, Trump said he was going to allow Peter Thiel to build some here in the United States. The next step to this, with or without Trump, is to start building independent states that are not liable or otherwise bound by U.S. law. They get to make their own laws, their own rules. We're already seeing them pop up. Like, this isn't like a conspiracy theory. These are things that are actively happening in the global South. Like, these natives are asking for help and for U.S. intervention because they're like, yo, come get your fucking billionaires. And well, it's happening here too on a slower scale because they obviously have to build the infrastructure. Infrastructure being this whole ICE program, right? We saw it in Texas with the Border Patrol deputizing literal white supremacist organizations. Like, this is the infrastructure, is to deputize and turn their own loyalist base into the law, and they can make up whatever rule they want. With or without Trump, it will get to a point, it might even be to the point, they don't need the support of MAGA. And that's what a lot of people sort of misunderstand, is Trump is a cult of personality. These people are not. These people have been the active proponents of every single imperialist action for the last 60 fucking years. They're not stopping because Trump has a heart attack tomorrow. And now they have all the power they could possibly need to wield the state like the weapon it is against the general working class.
Right. Well, and like, so my wife and I have had conversations about it, and I think that the one thing that will play into our favor is the people that they have lined up to take over. Because, in my personal opinion, and this is Uncle Ringo's opinion, okay, I think that Trump isn't going to make it the full 4 years. I think that he is. I think that he doesn't take care of his body enough to go ahead and make it through the entire presidency, much less the bullshit with a third presidency that he's trying to push, which that's a whole nother conversation we can get into in a minute. JD Vance is unlikable. He is awful when he's in front of a camera. He is insufferable at the very least. When you look at Peter Thiel, he hasn't been in front of a camera enough for people to go ahead and want to go ahead and pay attention to him. And not against like the way that Curtis Yarvin looks, but when you see a picture of Curtis Yarvin, he looks like he lives in someone's basement.
He looks like an incel.
Exactly. He looks like he has not seen the light of day. I know I'm looking at a picture where he was someone took a picture of him while he was outside, but I'm like, buddy, that was like the first time in 20 years that you've been outside, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think that if Trump were to die tomorrow, they would struggle to have someone who has the charisma. And God, I fucking hate giving Trump that. But has the same charisma that Trump has, because charisma, the charisma that Trump has built up has been the last 30 fucking years of his life trying to go ahead and do that. I mean, you and I'm 34. How close to that are you?
I'm 26.
26. So you probably grew up with Home Alone.
Oh yeah, Home Alone, The Apprentice, all of his shitty appearance.
Yeah, right. You know, he pops up into that stuff, and you're like, oh, that's, I don't know, some old dude, and then you're like, you just kind of move on. But, like, okay. then you get to like 19, 20 years old, and you're like, oh, that's that motherfucker from Home Alone 2. The Apprentice, so-and-so. JD Vance just appeared in my life fucking last year. I didn't know about him until then. Curtis Yarvin, same thing. Peter Thiel. I don't know. So I think they're going to struggle with the fucking that aspect.
That's what they do though, and that kind of plays into the, even if Trump has a heart attack tonight, not here tomorrow, they've laid enough of the foundation. I don't think it would matter. Like so, the Heritage Foundation, they're of course a dog shit think tank. But they also have been running youth programs, like training programs. So, like, the head of the terrorist division is a 22-year-old. I say terrorist division. That was a horribly simplistic. But he's 22 years old who used to be, I don't remember what relation he has to Trump, but it was something ridiculous. Gardner? I think he was like his gardener or something. Yeah. But he went through the exact same program pipeline that people like Carolyn Levitt help speak in and build. It is a direct youth to fascist pipeline through the Heritage Foundation. And they have enough of those people that are graduating at 20, 21, 22 that they can fill these bureaucratic roles, which is why they're purging so many people, because they have enough of their own people to fill these roles. And now they're able to wield the power of the National Guard and ICE. While they might struggle when it comes to carrying out certain shit like in LA, it doesn't matter if Trump's out of the picture. Here in Tennessee, they're so...
roll over for him?
Yeah. Like, they're so anti-class conscious that they vote based on party, not based on their interests, not based on the policy of somebody else, or they only care red or blue. Especially now. Like, they've bitten the propaganda, they swallowed it, and that's one of the hardest things that we face here is, it's like, I'm trying to help you get to the best solution for all of us. Like, we live in the same apartment. Why are you mad at me that I didn't vote for Trump? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I'm voting in your interest, not exactly in mine.
Yeah, and that's something that drives me crazy about a lot of people is when, MAGA specifically, but when they're arguing, oh, well, Trump's going to get rid of these people and he's going to get rid of you fucking, you dirty Marxists. Like, guys, I am fighting for a system that even if you hate me and don't like it, it will benefit you.
Right.
You don't have to like me, but at the end, if we can accomplish this, it will benefit you in a material, concrete way. You just want to see us die. Like like I don't get the comparison there.
Sorry about that.
You're good.
I don't know what the fuck that was, man. But yeah, no, like, so I brought this up in the last episode that I did with Kara. So my brother is a heavy Trump supporter, and I'm gonna read this verbatim. But this is the message that I got from my brother, and I do not mind going. Hey, bro, if you go ahead and see this, like, I know that you're more intelligent than this, but I need you to fucking hear this. All right. Okay, verbatim. I am not. I won't put. I'm not gonna put this up on screen because I'm not gonna like fucking dox him. But this is word for word. Okay, and you're gonna get confused because my brother does what I do, where you don't like read through a fucking Facebook message. But he goes, starting off, and this lines up with what you said. Like, why the fuck are you arguing with me when I'm trying to go ahead and help you out? Sorry, brother, you can speak your mind all you want, but once you step onto private property and start forcing your way into a building that is considered assault, they were asked to leave if they had done what was done in the past and set up a time to go in instead of thinking you're God Almighty and trying to cause a scene and force your way in. It would be different. I still think the same as I did when you lived here. If you came in illegally, your ass should be kicked out. I know you don't agree with me, but I support Trump and I will never fall to the liberal Democrat side. Just doesn't line up with my beliefs, quote unquote. And that was directed at a conversation I had with him about the mayor that got arrested, 2 months ago? A month ago or some shit like that?
Mm-hmm.
And when you said, like, you have a conversation with someone, you're like, I am trying to help you out. Why are you arguing with me? And I'm like, you just fucking reminded me, like, he sent me that shit. And I'm like, come on, you're smarter than this. I've had conversations with you.
I don't see the appeal. Like, I don't know. For the whole come and take it Second Amendment crowd, don't tread on me. Like, guys,
they're very quiet.
Like being treaded on. Like, yeah. Like, man.
It's almost like they're kink.
I was about to say that, yeah. I see a little snake with a ball gag and a red hat on. Like, this is fucking something.
Don't tread on me, Daddy.
Don't tread on me harder.
Tread on me hard.
Oh, God. Yeah.
My best friend watches this and he's going to be like, dude, what the fuck?
What the hell happened? Yeah. I have, my dad is a Trump supporter. And so my dad got hurt at work in 2007. I was 9 years old. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to trauma dump, but it was a very long, hard process. He still is crippled. His employer fought it, said, you didn't get hurt here. For a full year, wasn't able to have surgery, so he had long-lasting damage because it blew out a fuck ton of his disc in his spine, tore his bicep. Anyway, but now he's somehow convinced that Trump is good for him, going to help him make more money, and Elon is some new age crypto genius. And it's like, dude, like, he's on he survives on Medicaid. Like, he is on Medicaid, Medicare. Like, he's on disability. And I was talking to him, like, hey, like, you know they're cutting Medicaid, right? Like, not hypothetically, they are cutting. And he's like, no. You're going to see you're wrong. I hope you're wrong in a few. I'm like, you don't understand. This isn't an opinion, right? Like, this is a bill that was passed. This is a budget. Medicaid is being cut, and you're on it. Like, I don't understand the blind allegiance to self-harm. Like,
I read out my brother's message there. I have tried to talk. I didn't respond to that one, but I have tried to talk to him in the past where I'm like, he posted something that was anti-trans, and I was like, hey, I love you. You have 2 children in your life that you produced, and one of them is trans, and how do you think that they feel when you post this sort of stuff? And you should know for a fact that you posting something that says Sigourney Weaver, not Sigourney Weaver. Fuck. I don't remember what her name is. The lady who fought off Michael Myers.
Curtis Lee. Yeah, Curtis Lee.
Curtis Lee Jones.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what just happened there, but yeah.
I Curtis Lee James. Yeah. So
Curtis Lee
he
James
posted
as
something
well.
about. Yeah, she was holding up a shirt and it was like Photoshop saying like there are only two genders or some bullshit like that. And I sent him I sent him I sent him something where like Curtis said that she would fight anybody because she has a child who is trans, I believe, or something like that. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
my guy, come on, you are more intelligent than this, and you have a trans child. That trans child is going to go ahead and pretend to go ahead and be the gender that was assigned at birth because of this bullshit right here. Come on, man. And he was like, I don't want to fight with you. I just bygones be bygones. So I was like,
It's not
whatever.
my God.
Fuck you,
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, it's not. It's not. You
It's
are
not my
harming
God.
people.
Yeah.
And we are watching that happen with like people who are like you said, your dad, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
My brother runs a business. He's an arborist who runs a business, and he just recently started getting into contracts that are really expensive, in the millions of dollars of
Mm-hmm.
numbers. He's making a lot of fucking money, and he's like, Trump is going to go ahead and save me, and I'm like, fucking tariffs, dude, fucking tariffs. You don't understand that, like, to run an arborist community, an arborist business, you're going to be paying tariffs on the chainsaws,
Everything.
the chains, the gas, the fucking. I used to run his group, and I was his crew that would go to job sites, and I'm like, I know what we used to spend to go ahead and get the job site set up on the daily, and you're going to be doubling that on the best of days. So yeah, cool, good for you, dude.
A lot of people in that class, I call them the petty class because they're not quite 1%, but they're like above the working class. And you see it with like the Dave Portnoys of the world or the Aiden Rosses. I hate even fucking talking about those people, but for this example,
Yeah.
it is they are finding out, and just like he will at some point, whether he acknowledges it or not, they are not members of the club.
But they want to
can't
be.
Yeah, they want to be, but they never will be. And this kind of ties into the whole autocracy thing. As it continues, so capitalism is expansionist. For profits to grow, people have to be exploited more and more. That pool of exploited people has to get bigger. So a lot more of that top petty class, especially of the white or white passing community who haven't historically felt that, they're being fucking smashed right now. Like, Dave Portnoy, the first day those tariffs hit, I lost, 30 million, 50 million, whatever. And was like, I can't believe you did this. Like, well, we told you that, but you called us dirty commies who didn't know anything. We gave you an analysis that was accurate, and instead you were like, you're just a fucking angry broke. Like, okay, yeah, but I was right.
And why am I an angry? Like, what is the reason why I'm an angry broke? When I, as someone who makes $4K a month, is doing 2 to 3 jobs a fucking day, why am I an angry broke? Ask yourself that fucking question.
Exactly. And they want to play it off like, oh, you just got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and work hard. I can sell a kidney. Like, what else? You can't pull yourself up by your bootstraps when the capitalists steal your fucking boots. Like, you don't have any boots to pull up. Like, and that's just for me. Like, I'm surviving. Like, I'm not struggling in any serious way. There's people that have been so heavily oppressed historically that are still being kicked much further down the ladder. It's like, you can't tell a group of people who are being imperialized on U.S. soil to pick themselves up by the bootstraps. Like,
right?
That doesn't make any sense.
Shit. So, like, at the beginning of this, I mentioned to you that, like, I was in the military. When I was in the military, I was constantly trying to figure out ways to go ahead and produce a little bit more money with my time. And one of the ways I thought about it was like donating plasma. That was like one of the big ones that crossed. I never did it. I should have.
I'm scared of needles, but yeah.
Oh, dude. So I don't mind donating blood, but the fact of like them not drilling, but putting a needle into your bone, I'm like, that one kind of pushes it a little too far for me. I like. like I
I
said,
understand that. Yeah, no,
donating blood, I'll do that any day of the week. If the Red Cross called me up tomorrow and said, "Hey, we need your blood," fuck it, yeah, take it, whatever, fine. I'm not using it.
he said, I don't need it. You can have
it. But if they were like, "Hey, we need your plasma," I'd be like, I mean, I guess if you need it,
do you have to?
right? But like you were saying there, like, you know, you and I are part of the working class, and I mean, like, right now I'm not working. I just got my degree. I'm trying to find a job and that sort of stuff. I'm working on that sort of shit. But like, when you are working and you're making ends meet and barely making ends meet, because a lot of people like that only have one job, they might make $4,000 a month. But there are so many people that are around me, like my neighbor. She's got 3 jobs.
Yeah.
And I asked her about it. And I was like, "Why do you have 3 jobs?" She's like, "Oh, I like the lifestyle that it provides." And I'm like, "What fucking lifestyle does 3 jobs fucking provide?" The lifestyle that she, right? What the lifestyle that it provides is it allows her to keep her 3-story house, which, I mean, we're in Washington. Every house that I've known that I've ever been in is about 3 stories. So I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
It allows her kid to live the way the kid lives, and it allows her to go ahead and throw a party every like 3 to 6 months.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and that's cool and all, but wouldn't it be nice if like one job did that?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Exactly. And capitalism is really, really good at making people believe that hustle culture is a positive thing. They've made us believe that we should be spending every waking moment trying to make as much money as possible.
Right?
No, like we should. That's not how you should live. You should be able to live comfortably off of a single job, because that is the most humane thing to do. Like, people often confuse things like profit as a needed business expense, right? People say, "Well, that's the cost of doing business. You have to make profit to stay open." No, the cost of doing business is the cost of staying open. Profit is just unpaid wages, right? So the more the CEOs make, the less you just made. The more jobs you need to survive. While they get to go buy 3 fucking yachts, you're hoping that you can get your diabetes medicine and your dog's food. Like,
while also going ahead and getting like actual food, making sure that your electricity's still on, if you have gas in your house. Which, by the way, completely, I'm sidetracking real quick. We moved into this house 4 years ago, and I didn't realize that there were some houses that didn't have gas.
hell yeah!
So I didn't realize that was a thing. What a fucking millennial fucking.
What a millennial. That's crazy. Actually, that's funny though.
I mean, I like I said, I know I'm distracting from the conversation we're having here, but it is so fucking funny. It is so fucking funny that we had to move into this house room and be like, "Wait, this house is all electric." Fuck.
This house is all. It's funny that you said that, because now I was sitting here thinking, I was like, in my whole adult life, I've never lived in a place that had gas. It's always been electric.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So okay. So when I lived in New Mexico, our house was gas electric. Mm-hmm. So we had like we had a pipe that ran gas into the house, so we could go ahead and like do things like off the stove and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But like moving into a house that like so this house will be, it's 2025, so 2 years from now it'll be 100 years old, and we used to have like right
cool,
right.
Yeah.
So right here, right behind this window, there used to be fuck, what the hell is it called? A container of some sort that they would go ahead, like every month you'd have the gas company come in and pump
like
gas into
tank.
it. Yeah, propane tank. Yeah,
that's
like
cool,
like a massive one.
Yeah. My grandparents had one.
Nice. Yeah, exactly. That's what this house is, and it's, I don't know. It's just fucking funny that like you don't find that stuff out until you kind of become an adult, and then you're forced to go and learn about that sort of shit.
Oh.
God, I've derailed this conversation so bad.
Okay. That's funny though, because I've never thought about that. I've never been like, oh.
Yeah.
I've never lived in a place that had propane.
Dude, becoming an adult is so weird because you don't think about these sorts of things. Like we have a foundation crack, and for anyone that listens to this, if you move into a house and you find out you have a foundation crack, God, it's such a pain in the ass to deal with. Even if like our foundation crack is about the size of my pinky here, which is about 1/4 of an inch. I got tiny pinkies. Taking care of houses is such a pain in the ass, and I mean, honestly, our government should be helping us out with that. But
100%, yeah.
Fucking Trumpers.
Mm-hmm. Dude, could you imagine waking up every day and being like, I fucking hate free housing, healthcare, and education,
and then complaining about your fucking bills?
Oh my god! Oh, I can't afford eggs. That poor person shouldn't have a place to live.
Why is gas so high? I can't go ahead and fill up my gas tank.
Yeah.
Taxes. Taxes are thievery. They're fucking taking from me.
Oh my god.
Hey, so real quick, hey, for anyone that listens to this, if you're upset about taxes, I'm gonna tell you right now, there's this thing called Israel that your taxes fucking go to. Mm-hmm. And guess what? If you went ahead and fucking pushed back against your government, maybe the taxes wouldn't fucking go to Israel. Fuck. Mm-hmm. Shit.
Maybe if you boys stopped licking boots, we could have health care.
Right. Infrastructure. You know how like when you drive, the city that's like a mile down the road from you, if you're upset about potholes, guess what? If you fucking had your taxes go to fucking infrastructure, you might have a train that would take you from this city to that city in less than 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. Oh! I'm getting angry thinking about this.
That's okay. There's like stages. So I've been getting my wife into like political theory and like socialism, and so I call it the 3 stages, right? So well, I guess there's more, but like 3 stages. You start out, you're excited to learn. You start reading, you're like, oh, this is fucking awesome. And then as soon as you're hyped up, you're ready to go, you hit the wall of depression. You're like, everything fucking sucks. The system is hell on earth. I know this is bad, but I don't know how to fix it. And then you kind of push through it and you're like, okay, everything's good again. I'm back to being excited and getting to work. But she hit that depression wall pretty hard and was like, I understand it now, and I wish I didn't.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I was telling my friend, I was like, "Can I go back to when I was 8 and I didn't give a shit about anything except for like hitting a tree with a fucking fake sword I had?"
Mm-hmm. I miss my Darth Vader helmet.
Right? Oh my god! Fuck.
It's like, man, why did they have to fuck around and start all this shit when we were adults?
So, last week I talked to Kara about stuff, and she said something that fucking hit really, really hard to me. She's like, "We are meat suits that are propelled by pizzazz." I think that's the word that she used, and I was like, "Fuck me, that's really accurate." Because when it comes to like what we're conversating about right now, our meat suits want pizzazz. We want something to propel us forward, and instead we are getting hit by capitalism.
Yes.
Fuck.
Oh, so full of pizzazz, but chained by capitalism.
Right.
Oh, I love that.
God, you know, so I've only been doing this podcast that we're on right here for about 2 weeks now, and like I've been watching Sam Cedar and Midas Touch for a while there, and I kind of wish that like occasionally they would see some motherfucker like you and me that are just sitting here like getting angry about some shit that we can't do much about. Okay. And I know that you and I have talked about this sort of shit on fucking TikTok and Discord and all that, and it's about fucking community and getting people fucking going to your neighbor and going, hey, what do you need? Do you need a cup of sugar? Do you need butter? Do you need help? Like, what's going on with your medical? Like, what can I do to help you out?
Yeah.
You and I talked about it before we even got into this. My wife and I were over at the pub. That's why I'm really animated right now, because I'm fucking 5 beers in right now. And she was talking about like how there are no pink boots out here in the area that I live in out in Washington, and how she wants to go ahead and start one. So I was like, hey, let me help you out. I don't make any money off of beer, but I'll go ahead and like do what I can, and that'll probably be a conversation for later on me when I'm sober. But it's like you and I talked about like you need to build community to go ahead and make sure that people aren't ending up in these positions where it's like you're doing 3 to 5 jobs. Like I've oh God, when you hear about someone who's got 5 fucking jobs, like that's so fucking rare. So fucking rare. But when you end up having so many jobs that you don't sleep, I'm like, how the fuck do you live? It's because you have a kid, don't you? Like that's the first question that pops into mind. But like you're out in Tennessee, and I know like Tennessee and Washington aren't exactly the same place, but like my neighbor has 3 fucking jobs.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
out here. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't be surprised like at all. Like when I was out in New Mexico, if I didn't join the military, I was never leaving that fucking state.
Yeah.
And the only way, like if I absolutely wanted to leave that state, I would have had to have gone to college, gotten a degree, picked up a job, then a second job, and a third job, and hoped that something in that was worth enough for me to go ahead and move to another fucking state.
Yep.
And now look at us. We're looking at fucking LA going ahead and throwing riots, man. Jesus Christ.
Oh, we've come so far. We just have to make sure that they don't, like, I say they, but we don't lose that momentum. And
yeah,
because that happens a lot. Like we can't let. This is where it starts getting a little dicey, and usually Democrats start getting mad at me. But we can't let Democrats co-opt the movement. Now, this isn't a shot at like the average Democrat voter. This is specifically leadership.
Yep.
You saw it with BLM, right? There is a analysis or saying whatever. The government does not listen until they're forced to listen. We live in a system that perpetuates violence and only understands violence. That's why when BLM was marching, nobody listened. When Colin Kaepernick took a knee, nobody listened. When the cities were set on fucking fire, everybody listened. But you see it like Baltimore. They were co-opted. They were brought on stage. The mayor said, we support you. We're with you. Here's a brand new mural on the sidewalk for you. And we're going to reform the police. So if you look at any city or state that said they were going to reform the police, they got the largest budgets they had ever received, right? We're talking like millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, and new equipment and new sensitivity training. What do you think LAPD or Baltimore PD did with sensitivity training? They probably took it at the fucking range and cut it down. Like,
how do you shoot someone in the face with a fucking tear gas fucking pellet?
Sensitivity training. Aim for the left cheek, not the right cheek. Like,
yeah, make sure that when you shoot someone, you don't kill them, because when you kill them, then we get bad press. All right, we don't want that. Yeah. Shoot them in the balls. Shoot them in the guts. Shoot them in the leg.
Shoot him in the leg, tase him, bring him in, throw him in the for-profit prison system, put him to work for free.
Look, back in my day, when I first joined the police force, you could kill a man and walk away with it, and everyone would call you a fucking hero. Sorry. I'm just...
Oh,
God.
Shit.
Sober me's got to go through this. Sober me's got to go through this and go ahead and do some editing, and he's going to be like, God damn it.
Nah. Just keep it all.
God damn. Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. But he's got to go ahead and like find shit to go ahead and like back this stuff up. And I know Sober me's going to be like, man, I got to go ahead and look up police fucking files. God damn it.
Oh, fuck.
Drunk Ringo, stop it.
Stop talking. That's funny as shit, though. But yeah, that's what we have to avoid, is we have to avoid the co-optation. Because as soon as we're co-opted, any movement is co-opted, it then becomes controlled opposition.
Yep.
A lot of people hate to hear that Democrats are just as complicit in fascism as the Republicans are. If you look at it from a historical standpoint, even Malcolm X said the largest opposition to civil rights is not the conservative, because they're the racist counter movement to you. It's the white liberal, because they'll infiltrate, co-opt, and de-teeth what you're doing. And it's true, they always have. And it's because they have the same capital interest. Their only goal is to make sure they are never uncomfortable or their capital is never threatened, because they like the status in society where they sit, which right now is why everybody's losing their mind. Whenever you get into that autocratic sort of mesh transition, the class society starts getting fucked, and all the people
Yeah.
who didn't feel it before are feeling it, and they don't like it. They don't like the little taste they're getting of the treatment they've given portions of society for the last 100 years.
Right. Well, and like, so I know. So my friend ends up watching this, and I hope that they don't have a problem with this. But I'm gonna go ahead and bring up Bernie Sanders here, okay? Because Bernie Sanders is one of the namesake Democratic
Mm-hmm.
persons, and I think that like if we weren't dealing with the lesser of two evils in the way that we go about our politics, which America is very much the lesser of two evils. So the lesser of two evils would be Bernie Sanders or AOC.
Mm-hmm.
And the issue that comes up, and you have a kafia, I have a kafia, I know that you and I have been very pro-Palestine.
Mm-hmm.
Bernie Sanders is a fucking Zionist, whether he wants to admit it or not. Okay. And I get that a lot of people have an issue with the Z word, but I need to go ahead and emphasize that Zionism is a ethno-genocidal bullshit fucking state that goes ahead and pushes this sort of stuff. And whenever it comes to Democrats, they want to go ahead and take the money from an ethno-Zionist genocidal bullshit fucking state that doesn't care about anybody else but themselves. They don't care about the Jewish population. They only care about the Israeli population. And the Israeli population didn't exist until fucking 1930 something. I don't fucking remember. 1926. It was 1926 is when they fucking started.
And it was founded, by an Austrian journalist.
Yeah. Who was an atheist that didn't. Yeah, you and I had that conversation. He was an atheist who didn't believe in religion and he didn't believe in God. And hey, you know what? I'm an atheist. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not believing. Okay, so I'm not okay. I'm not okay with what he came up with. I'm okay with not believing in God, though.
Yeah.
I need to be very clear there.
Yeah.
But I really wish that Bernie Sanders would fucking take a side and be like, nah, Israel is a fucking Zionist nation. At least then I'd be like, okay, cool. Good for him.
I have feelings about Bernie Sanders too. Of course, that completely encompassed his stance on Palestine and Israel. I agree 100%. He's also, the Bernie bros are gonna hate this, so I'm just gonna keep it a band with you. I am not a Bernie bro. But the reason is he says he's a socialist, but he twists what socialism is, right? He says, I'm a socialism, we can reform capitalism, we can. If he was a socialist, he would be very open that you can't reform a system built on exploitation. He pushes for the Nordic model. So let's look at the Nordic model. This will be super fast, but we're going to look. So H&M is one of the large, actually, I think it is either one or two, like the top or the second largest retailer in the world, like in the entire world. And they are a Swedish company. So Sweden is a democratic socialist. And if you look at the way they treat their workers domestically, it's extremely well, right? They're unionized, they're well paid, their healthcare is covered, fantastic. But what the Nordic model does, because capitalism is still a leading factor, right? They have capital strikes. A lot of people don't know what a capital strike is. A capital strike is a reverse fucking strike. Capitalists will close their factories if the government won't meet their demands. And that is a common occurrence. Yeah, it's insane. So what they do is they don't exploit their own people. They export that exploitation to the global south. Most of their clothes are made in Bangladesh. They pay less than 40 cents a day. It costs quadruple that to exist in Bangladesh. So they don't even pay a quarter of the living wage. But you can apply that to any Nordic model socialist country. It's not socialism, it's just exported exploitation. It's, I would actually call it like nationalist capitalism, right? They take care of their nationals, their domestic nationals, but they exploit the global south in insane ways. Like these are sweatshops, these are terrible living conditions, dangerous factories, and underpaid is not even the word that they starve their employees. But they're a socialist nation because they have free health care.
we can call it what it is. It's slave wager.
Yeah,
slave wages.
100%. Yeah. So Bernie calling himself a socialist and then advocating for something like that it's comical. Like I don't know. I hate the linkage between Bernie and socialism because
Yeah.
he's only advocating for national socialism, not in the Nazi sense, but in the Nordic sense of we should take care of our own people, but if we exploit those people, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, and like, and maybe this is like bad thinking on my part. I do understand why people want to go ahead and like back him up. Don't get me wrong. Right now in the position that I am in right now, I want him to go ahead and take over, or him as like AOC. Fuck me. I would love if one of them could figure out how to get rid of what we're dealing with right now, so we could breathe. I get it. If Bernie had been elected in 2016, the America would be different. America really absolutely would, because he was farther left than the Democrat Party is. As we have all, as everybody, I really hope that anybody that ever listens to this, the Overton window in America is so far right that left is right at this point in time.
Yeah.
But Bernie would have pulled it moderate center, maybe. I don't know. We could have progressively pulled it farther and farther left if he was in office. And I can get behind that. But I want, like I said, I wanted to acknowledge the fact that he isn't perfect. And I'm kind of tired of hearing that Bernie Sanders would have changed America so much. When I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out that he takes APAC money. Just fucking PAC money. My friend and I had a conversation about PAC money. But yeah, you've got like you're talking about like some stuff that like just kills me, because it's like having conversations with some people that are like smarter than me, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you're smarter than me and all that sort of shit, but like, come on, like we should not be going ahead and kowtowing or bending over whatever the fuck it is to these people that they kind of do better for us when we could have so much fucking better.
No, I agree.
My anger is fucking getting the better of me on this one. I'm just
No, I agree 100%. Especially with like the Bernie AOC crowd. Obviously, like, even though I don't believe we can vote our way out of it, we can absolutely fight for reforms. Like, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't.
Yeah.
But it's like they want to make that the whole fight. And that's not the whole fight. Like, that should be obviously a way to ease the pain and struggle on the working class. But we can't just stop. Like, say something crazy happens, right? And Bernie ends up as president next Thursday. Well, the fight's not over, right? Like,
yeah.
We still live in capitalism. Corporations still exist. Peter Thiel still exists. Curtis Yarvin still, like, these Silicon Valley tech bros still exist. These people who have consolidated and hoarded wealth are still consolidating and hoarding wealth. So we should absolutely be fighting for any way we can ease the pressure on the working class, 100%. We have to make sure that the people that we let lead communities and like build communities around and with aren't only trying to fight for electoralism. Because ultimately, if we still live in capitalism, we're going to end up right back here in 20 years, and 30 years, and 40 years.
Yeah. Because money pulls us, money will always pull us towards the right.
Absolutely.
With this real quick, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end the recording right here just so I can pause this so I can go to the restroom.
You're good.
And
yeah,
then
I'm going to go pee too.
Yeah.